are the archways which appear to diminish down the corridor. The concrete floor is blocked off in its original design. Original hand-carved facings. Walls built of hand-kiln brick, customary in public buildings of the period, are 2 feet thick in some places. A photographic display of ships named for Arkansas in the West Corridor. Original hand-carved balustrades, newel posts, rails, risers, and wainscoting of unsupported twin-spiral stairways in the rotunda, perhaps the most celebrated feature of the old State House. Materials were prepared in a lumber yard across the road from the building. The shape, formed by the spirals, resembles a horse collar. The first level circular skylight well railing is of smaller diameter than the increased size on the second level. Ordinarily, the reverse of usual construction. The old display room for the Department of Agriculture, now furnished as a waiting room with hefter seat, armoire for clothing. There were no closets. And an interesting old lobby sofa. The petticoat console, in hoop-skirt days, allowed ladies to check hemlines and slippers. Former First Lady's inaugural or second-day dresses, the finest exhibit of its kind because of the unique manner of their restoration, preservation, and display. Display of china from the governor's mansion. A few of the official hostesses representing their state organization who assist in large receptions for conventions and other special events reenact a pioneer social tea in the curator's office. Gentle, quiet stillness of past history, illuminated by the same beautifully inspiring light today as then in the upstairs hall. Original columns and hand-carved birchwood railings, which remained intact throughout the years, fortify the Senate chamber, originally the House of Representatives until 1885, when the building was enlarged. Authentic draperies are of cotton velvet throughout the building, as Arkansas is the third largest cotton-producing state in the nation. Little fireplaces, mantels, and chairs on the back row are also originals. 32 chairs and desks represent the number of senators at the time the building was vacated. The ceiling medallion has been restored in its original design. The House of Representatives moved into its enlarged chamber in 1885 and used it until the building was vacated as a state capitol. Original chairs and desks were used by the University School of Medicine, which occupied the House chamber until 1936. This desk and quaint chair belonged to the first dean of the medical school. The railing is a reproduction. In the Secretary of State's office, a scale model of the battleship Arkansas, sunk in atomic tests at Bikini after long service to our country. Property of the Military Department of Arkansas includes plaques, altar cloths, prayer rug, communion services of old pewter, baptismal service, brass chest that contains sealed orders, war relics, and the ship's clock from the battleship Arkansas. Mahogany counter desks were formerly in the Supreme Court clerk's room. The collection of athletic trophies from the battleship. Portraits of governors who served in this building, arranged in the order of their terms around the walls of the reception room to the governor's suite. The office of the secretary to the governor. Floors of edge-grained pine of which Arkansas is a large producer. In the governor's office, furniture formerly used in the building. Russian couch, chair and desk similar to that used by Governor Jeff Davis in the 1901 to 1907 period. Bookkeeping combination, desk and secretary. One of the most interesting pieces shown was used in the east wing of the building. East Wing committee rooms have been furnished to represent living rooms of various periods of our history for enjoyment and information. A drawing room of principally Victorian family treasures. Etagere with cups with real cameo holders. Satin glass vase. Lamp more than 100 years old. Chinese lacquer screen. Sofa is late Federal from Philadelphia, as are the Beltor chairs. A period room of 1812 era. Genuine teakwood desk. Pair of rare urns. A handsome Spanish chest with mother-of-pearl inlay. Rare bowl and candelabra. A fine old Adams mirror. Cathedral chair. Chinese hand-carved teakwood etagere with carved ivory panels in the doors. Gold case containing Oriental objects. A genuine Federal bookcase. Rare fans and combs worn by hostesses of the old State House. A richly ornate candelabra. An early flag of our young land. Our impatience for freedom. A growing nation admitting new states. New flags proposed and adopted. Then another. Demands. Restlessness. Tension. During the war between the states, when Little Rock became besieged, the capital was moved to Washington in Hempstead County for security reasons. The old courthouse, which served as the seat of Arkansas government, has been restored and is open as a museum to visitors. Guns of that war have long been silent, but the intriguing display in the flag gallery of the old State House reveals vividly a segment of our past history. Two Confederate flags, captured by Indiana soldiers, were returned in 1962 in special handmade cases by the governor of Indiana with a military escort, and presented to the governor of Arkansas to be added to the display. And so it was history, as was the money issued during those days, seen in the currency room of the Arkansas History Commission, the state archival department in the west wing of the old State House. The Archives Annex, a three-story fireproof vault at the rear of the west wing, contains many rare and valuable reference books. Abundant information in rare and current news and periodical publications. Microfilmed on modern equipment by History Commission staff for convenient filing and access for reference. The Supreme Court Justice's room represents a colonial drawing room before Arkansas statehood. In better homes, furniture was of English, French, and Chinese import. All brass pieces are ormolu. Draperies by Scalamandri. Console tables with ormolu trim from England with crystal candelabra and brass candlesticks. A genuine English break front, mahogany with satinwood inlay. 18th century sofas and drum table, purchased from a home of nobility in Aberdeen, Scotland. Genuine hand-cut crystal French chandelier. Covered French urns dated 1765. Spices and tea were so precious that they were kept fresh in chests like this one of Scotch mahogany with ivory inlay in living rooms for safety as well as display. The genuine Kashara Oriental rug from Lebanon is over 150 years old. The old Supreme Court room, now furnished as an Arkansas Pioneer Society room of the 1820 through 1850 period. Pioneers read the Bible daily and kept it displayed for access rather than ornament. An 1846 melodeon, a revolving hobby cabinet with very fine collection of minerals from all over the world. A fireside bench from the home of a pioneer. Also a pair of Pepter seats flanking pier mirror. Etagere in the corner, an Arkansas Pioneer piece containing medicine measures from the medical school, and an old stone ink bottle found during the restoration. an 1840 Victorian chair, secretary with hand-sanded glass, marble-top table with drinking service, 2 French commodes with inlay of fruit wood and brass ornamentation and unusual marble tops, candlesticks from India, the only Audubon sketched while in Arkansas according to Audubon's journal, flycatcher and sweet gum, though he did many other native birds. Pioneers had to spin their own thread and yarn. Others just enjoyed the ride. An old hall tree in the Supreme Court clerk's room, representative of a living room of around 1898. Illumination for the building began with candlelight, advanced to gaslight, then electricity. Fixtures are reproductions of the period between 1836 and 1911. Furniture of the gay 90s was made of various woods. Oak was popular and often used with different other woods, presenting interesting and odd combinations. Of special interest, the little gossip chair, chocolate set with little hand-wrought silver spoons. Stereoscope for viewing pictures of amazing clarity and depth, and a chess set. A plaque on the floor was cast of metal, recovered from the battleship Maine. The Supreme Court record room represents the Victorian era, immediately before and during the war between the states. Antique gold sconces flanking mirror in shadowbox frame, and an old piano of rosewood. Urns were taken from Mexico during the Maximilian insurrection. The brass fire screen is old Williamsburg. Pull-up chairs with needlepoint covering. Rosewood table with Bristol vase. Courting, from far ends of the chaperone sofa, was probably most restrained by the observer in between. Federal secretary, earlier period example of ability to mix periods. Bustle chair and floral carpets are typical of the era. In the breezeway is displayed the bell of the battleship Arkansas. Not with the rest of the exhibit because of its weight. Time, according to the sundial, goes on without pause. But a treasured segment, rich in history and tradition, has been preserved for present and future generations to enjoy and relive.